idea what she doing in college. That major that she majored in don't make no money, but she won't drop out, her parents will look at her funny. Now, tell me that ain't insecure. The concept of school seems so secure. Sophomore, 3 years, ain't picked a career. She like, fuck it, I'll just stay down, her and do hair. Cause that's enough money to buy her a few pairs of new airs. Cause her baby daddy don't really care. She's so precious, with the peer pressure, couldn't afford cars, so she named her daughter Alexis. She had hair so long that it looked like weave. Then she cut it all off, now she look like Eve. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female, addicted to retail. Oh, when it all falls down. And when it falls down, who's you gonna call now? When it all falls, and when it all falls down. Oh, when it all, man, I promise I'm so self-conscious. That's why you always see me with at least one of my watches. Rollies and postures and drove me crazy. I can't even pronounce nothing past that Versace. Then I spent $400 on this, just to be like, nigga, you ain't up on this. And I can't even go to the grocery store without someone's ass clean and a shirt with a team. It seemed living the American dream, but the people highest up got the lowest self-esteem. The prettiest people do the ugliest things for the road to riches and diamond rings. We shine because they hate us, flaws cause they degrade us. We tryna buy back our 40 acres, and for that paper, look how low we'll stoop. Even if you in a bed, you still a nigga in the coop. When it all, come on, when it all falls down. And when it falls down, who you gon' call now? And when it all falls down, I say fuck the police, that's how I treat them. We buy way out of jail, but we can't buy freedom. We buy a lot of clothes, but we don't really need them. Things we buy to cover up what's inside, cause they made us hate ourselves and love they wealth. That's why shorty's hollering with a baller's at. Drug dealer by Jordans, crackhead by crack, and a white man get paid off of all it. But I ain't even gon' act holier than that, cause fuck it, I went to Jacob with 25 that before I had a house, and I do it again. Cause I wanna be on 106 and Park pushing a bin. Wanna act prolific like it's all terrific. I got a couple past due bills, I won't get specific. I got a problem with spending it before I get it. We all self-conscious, I'm just the first to win it. Yeah, come on, come on. It all falls down. And when it falls down, who's you gon' call now? And when it all falls down, when it all falls down, we gon' set this party on fire. It all falls down, we gon' set this party on fire. Shot-town, shot-town, we gon' show 'em how we get down. Shot-town, shot-town, we gon' show 'em how we get down. Get down, get down, get down, get down, down, down. I'm telling you all that it all falls down. Oh, when it all falls down. I'm telling you all that it all falls down.
I just can't keep working like this. This grave shift is like a slave ship.
How long are you gonna try to hide your heart? Girl, you pull me in close, but you only let me go so far. I can see that diamond shining bright, but it's buried in the coal mine dark. How long are you gonna try to hide your heart? Baby, I would dig down to the bottom of the cold ground, under the roots of your hometown, where your skeletons live. Come on, let me show you what I'm worth. Put these never quitting hands to work. I ain't afraid of a little dirt. Girl, your love's a gift, and I ain't afraid to dig. I ain't afraid to dig. Can you take me behind blue eyes dream while you cry, where you run when you get scared. Every inch I dig gonna make me rich, 'cause I know there's gold in there. Can you take me behind blue eyes and long blonde hair? Can you take me behind blue eyes and long blonde hair? Baby, I swear I would dig down to the bottom of the cold ground, under the roots of your hometown, where your skeletons lay. Come on, let me show you what I'm worth. Put these never quitting hands to work. I ain't afraid of a little dirt. Girl, your love's a gift, and I ain't afraid to dig. How long are you gonna try to hide your heart? Girl, you pull me in close, but you only let me go so far. Baby, I would dig down to the bottom of the cold ground, under the roots of your hometown, where your skeletons lay. Come on, let me show you what I'm worth. Put these never quitting hands to work. I ain't afraid of a little dirt. Girl, your love's a gift, and I ain't afraid to dig. I ain't afraid to dig.
Well, alright. We are back now. And there's my sexy face. Hello. Yeah, we are up and running. And I must say, I am it's an impromptu stream. This was going to be set for, I want to say, tomorrow. That's when I was initially going to do it. Get your encoder to go live. Come on, girl. She's still there. Okay, we're still there. It's public. Okay, that's all I wanted to check. So yeah, no, we're still live. Still dealing with Wi-Fi trouble, so I'm hopefully it doesn't cut out. Things have gotten a little bit better with streaming, but not exactly the best. So forgive if there are some problems. Now, it's been 1 week since you looked at me and cocked your eye and said that you're angry. But more importantly, a company that a lot of us had faith in for the longest time, though that faith was shattered quite a bit last year, has finally decided to go and spurn everyone to a degree that is still yet to be fathomed. So, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and speak on this, because I've been watching VTubers since about 2018, 2019. I started with the Hololive girls. I started with, like, the early gen Hololive. Kazuna AI, basically, and also, I guess Tool Bear, if you want to count on him as an origin VTuber. He was before Kazuna. However, what you need to know, and what I'm going to point out, yes, Brotherhood, we are talking about FaZe. We're going to get there. I was just saying, though, I was a fan of FaZe for years. I started watching them back in 2021, so I'm not the oldest fan of FaZe, but I'm definitely of the golden era stock. I used to watch Pippa back in her day, and I used to watch Fura Yuri, and I watched Tenma. Those are the three I liked. Fura, as we know, had disagreements with the company. There was whatever's in the mix. I don't care to find out. She's now under the name of Nanobytes formerly Nanobites, now Kibawu, friends with Kirsha. And as some people in chat might know, I am very much a Kirsha. I've been an honorable chatter since like late 23. That's what I want to say is when I started. So I've been an honorable chatter for quite a bit, and I've actually competed in a couple of not competed, but have done things for Kirsha for stream anniversaries and birthdays. And the clips are on my channel, and that's beside the point. I was going back to is that phase. Tomoe is the only one Dr. Love, I know it's you. I know it's you, Doctor. Is it Dr. Love today, or is it your alter ego? Anyway, as I was saying is that I was a fan of FaZe during the Golden Era. And I've actually competed in one of the matcha reviews with Tenma when she did it last year with Loki, because I finally got out of my shell to post myself online. Not my face, but just myself. And I guess you can't really, and some people might say you're not a fan for not doing it, but things have been tough financially, and donating and buying merchandise was not always on the docket of me. I always liked following them, I always liked to comment and chat, I always liked to watch the clips, everything. I just fiscally could not afford to do so, because buying merchandise is not a place I'm in my time of my life right now. However, FaZe this year had some glaring cracks, because it was on a steamroll campaign during the death cycle of and massive shakeup of the corporate VTubing sphere, and basically being the only remaining good corporate VTuber. VShoho went under in a spectacular fashion. We saw a bunch of small little conglomerates like VDere fall apart, or just kind of slowly fizzle and dissolve out. We saw explosions like Ninja Sanji and Kawaii, which you go have like 10 of them, and it's like Pokemon. Fuck, you know the one I'm talking about, the Dr. Cunny. You know the one I'm talking about. But as I was saying though, is that the story of just how things have... we thought, it was always pushed this way that FaZe was going to be the surviving corpo for the longest time. They were considered punk, though I never did. I never considered them punk. It's just that there just seemed to be some common sense that was very much lacking with every other corpo and their talents. And Sakana himself, who was probably the most upfront, in terms of upfront, like being at the front line of the spotlight, manager and owner, CEO, Sakana was kind of as beloved as his talents in a weird way. And his appearances and him poaching and pretty much being a gacha consumer, but also a father who loved drinking Coke and basically loved to give his talents like nice little trips out to Japan, but also to kind of make sure everything's kind of good. Sakana had a reputation that was pretty upfront. As weird and hilarious it was pretty flawless for the longest time. However, and as Cleo has spoken this, one of FaZe's talents, and a girl one of the talents I rate into frequently, or formerly rate into frequently. I'm not gonna be giving anything to FaZe as much as I like Cleo. She had spoken that people should not be worshipping Sakana as much as they did. Now, the earliest forms of my disgruntlement with FaZe came from when Kirsha got bombarded by false accusations, slander, lies by a autogalaphiliac tranny. Oh, just that kind of goes in hand. By the name of Anal Violence or Anna Valence. And his pet femboy fucktard, the infamous Nyara from Germany, who likes to comment on American politics for some fucking reason, despite his own country falling apart, but of course he votes for everything to come through because he wants to get fucked up the ass by Middle Eastern cock. Who also likes to try and transition children. So, yeah. Kirsha got bombarded. And even before then, it was also kind of on the rocks too with how she used to be able to collab with Pippa, which was very, very popular collabs in all consideration. Second to Mari and Pippa collabing. And Kirsha would last have Pippa on a collab with Pippa underneath a Digimon avatar to distance herself from the company despite it actually just being her. And they got drunk and, you know, they're friends. IRL, they are friends. And before anything goes forth, Kirsha's clarified that, yes, they are still friends. So I'm not throwing terrible amount of shade at Pippa, but there's going to be some flack. I'm saying down range. So we know that FaZe wanted Pippa to really distance herself from Kirsha. Granted, at that time, maybe for the best, so they would not be put under any crossfire. I mean, for Christ's sake, Filian probably was the one to stream with Kirsha at that time, despite Kirsha, well, besides also Kirsha's friends, which is Moonshine, Kiba, formerly Furayuri, and Bagsterd. Great, I also like Bagsterd. He's a great guy, totally cool guy. But as I'm getting on here, and hi Mabel, thanks for calling me a baka, I really appreciate it. My anger, my disgruntlement with FaZe came when Sakana had brought in V Kawai's infamous Ihor, a snake in the grass. Hannah Flores, aka, as we now know her, Clara. And Clara is a case of what I've always said to avoid IRL. A whore. I have 3 core tenets of my online persona for VTubing. And VTubing. Because I'm a nobody saying this to you now. And probably when the video and clip goes up, I'm not going to be a nobody even then afterwards. But my core 3 tenets, kind of like the 3 of my 10 crack commandments, are this. And then when it comes to collabs and people I deal with, people I will actually bother to talk to willingly, unless I get shots thrown my way. I will not collab, number 3, with someone who is say-so. Because myself, I am a danger to their brand, and I'm a risk to them, because I'm very unfiltered. I'm not based, I'm not edgy, I don't mark myself to be, I am just unfiltered. This is how I speak as a mechanic. This is how I speak in the auto shop. I am very much uncouth. I'm actually more censorious here than I am IRL, but I'm very uncouth. But number 2 is, and for people I avoid and people I will never talk to in any good faith, are people who want me dead politically, want me dead for my race, want me dead for my sex, want me dead for my religion, my nationality, my history, everything. And this is where Clara starts to really come in, and we're going to get to that. And number 1, I never talk or interact with whores. Sluts, porn stars, you fucking name it. Just all horror all the way around. Yes, very misogynistic. I've ranted on about this before. Let me put it out this way. Do you want a whole heck of mess? Do you want to see your empire fall? Do you want to see your livelihood get shooken up? You deal with someone whose only quality of life is a womb to catch the passing sperm of a truck driver. To have a bastard child. One who can't keep her legs closed and sure she won't keep her fucking mouth closed. The one who took the easy way in life and just thinks that they are high and mighty for it and they're Teflon. Psychologically damaged and everything in between. I do not deal with it. I care not. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. As the G-Man animation goes. I will now bring that up because I should have done this. But the general gist is, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And, well, Clara is not a conventional whore and I'm going to still withhold her last name, but we fucking know who she is. Because she couldn't bother to keep her VTubing persona terribly far from her personal accounts, and everything could be traced right back to it. And I'm just going to bring this video up, if it can load in, but you'll get what I'm saying here. This is what I generally believe in. Is the best way to synopsis on commandment number 1.
Women are gross.
I agree, Samuel. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
That's what I believe in. Kind of a funny animation to go along with it. But as I was saying, though, Clara is not a conventional whore. And she was a very much not the first one of the porn industry to get into Face Connect. However, Clara is an interesting creature besides her having a big part in collapsing V Kawaii and being kicked out. Clara had a failed Gravure Idol career 10 years ago. And it was only a 1-bit, basically Gravure, as people will know, is basically softcore porn. Basically, she just did lingerie and bikini shots, which is okay. Typically, that's in my book, I don't have a problem with that. And I would be okay with dealing with Gravure idols, or people have done Gravure because I'm like, okay, you're still clothed, you haven't done it yet, whatever. I'm just kind of like, okay, that, whatever. But Clara, according to rumors, and I'm going to take this with a massive fucking grain of salt, also married a Japanese national to try and green card scam her way into living in Japan. Because she is I believe she's a Hapa, half Italian, half Japanese, I want to say, that lives in Quebec. So she's a fucking leaf. And Clara then divorced this man and got her ass sent back to Quebec. Started her VTubing career as of the past 3 years, and due to Face Connect, due to her ability to speak Japanese, she found a way in despite her past problems, which I'm still glazing over because I'm too tired to go further researching into. When I say researching, like further to bring everything up on stream. Clara then comes to Face Connect, and due to her ability to speak Japanese fluently, or partially fluently, gets put on the JP side that Sakana wanted to expand into properly. And unfortunately, I did like one of the JP talents by the name of Loki, because Loki, basically with Tenma, made me the Leonardo da Vinci of the Kampaniki, with my ass cheeks literally making her gasp. I'm not kidding you, that was during the Matcha review. That clip is up on my channel. I don't know how much longer I'll leave it up. It's going to be there for a bit. What happened, though, she got into that field, and off the hop, she started causing problems. Now, a lot of stuff is is not hearsay, but it's confirmed rumors, confirmed behind the scenes, because Face Connect, unfortunately, had been trying to approach a wider audience, the larger audience, the general audience, the mainstream audience that everyone says they're chasing. Well, the modern audience, as we come to know it. Pardon me. And, well, in part of doing that, a lot of older fans of Face Connect had been feeling a change, if not some of them being shirked out from the Discord and streams. Mods and clippers that have been there for years started to slowly be pushed and drifted away from the streams. And a new breed started to encroach their way in. A breed that is progressive. That is... Thanks, Dr. Love. I really appreciate that knowledge. A breed that is aggressive. That is aggressively progressive, if you will. A breed that's also ones to be femboys and to cut their own dicks off as well. Ones to try and do gay ops behind the scenes. Well, this new audience had some issues with some newer and established talents. One such talent was Jelly Hoshino. And Jelly is a curious case, because she was part of the Invader group, which featured Dizzy, Lumi, and... oh, shit. I fucking know the last one. Oh, come on. Oh, god damn it. But yeah, basically, of the Invader group, and for this story, Jelly, Lumi, and Dizzy. And they all came from the same former talent agency that had basically shafted them. And Dizzy in particular, Dizzy and Lumi, were tight. And I believe Ember's the last one. No, yeah, Ember, I'm pretty sure was the last one. And they were very much tight with each other. And for the longest time, and this is just from my perspective, from when I was viewing, Dizzy and Lumi very much took off. Dizzy is, of course, Dizzy and Lumi are in their 30s, and they've played into the hag bit. Dizzy in particular, especially, being desperate for love, but also having mental strife due to yearning for romantic affection. That has led to both sympathy and a lot of jokes and a lot of in the community, but also a lot of sympathy and a lot of people liking her and being more endearing to her audience. Not even without baiting the girlfriend experience, just actually just being endearing to an audience. Lumi really fell into stride. Oh, we're getting more of these bots. Oh, fuck right off. But Lumi began to fall more into her stride a couple months in, when she realized she could actually be creative and open up. Now I know Lumi is a master's of, basically she's got a master's in, I believe it was software engineering, but she got to be the goofy girl she always wanted to be. She had clips of the raccoon Lumi, and she had a bunch of other bits I really enjoyed. But this story we're focusing on Jelly. And Jelly took her time to take her stride. And 2025 was her year, because when she exploded, because she was a little firecracker. Kind of how a lot of people from Pippa's audience missed the old Pippa, or kind of missed that early Pippa. Jelly brought it back. She just seemed to naturally fall in stride of just being a little firecracker. And with weird family history, a lot of things about her, she really fell into enjoying this. And she's also from, Malaysia or Indonesia. Because right now it's late in the night. I'm pretty much tired from the work week. So my brain's not always working the best. But she's from Southeast Asia. So she says a lot of things off the cuff, but doesn't care about Western sensibilities because she's not from the West. Can speak English fluently, but she doesn't need to worry about fucking Western sensibilities for the most part. And this is going to come in later. Due to this attitude, also due to the group also not making it a point of their career, but seemingly actually understanding males being lonely, Dizzy especially, but Jelly kind of being that little happy fun time we get to talk to, and Dizzy being the more mature one that, you kind of hear kind of different perspectives from. Well, Clara didn't per se like that, because Clara, as we're going to get into, is a lefty. A raging lefty. And she, behind the scenes, began to fuck with Jelly. Making spats at her. Making insults at her, and behind her back and on her on the Discord. With screenshots that were verified. It's on, I forget what the forum, it's on the forum. Which forum I'm not gonna let them say. It's pretty much obvious to who it is. To anyone in our chat. And what happened from there is that Clara tried to bring in. Yeah, I've noticed that Pip's face slowly started to push away from the edge of content, like when Pippa made the joke about the 9th of September 2001. Yeah, I mean, fucking even then, like, I think Pippa's last 9/11 joke was during had some issues with some newer and established talents. One such talent was Jelly Hoshino. And Jelly is a curious case, because she was part of the Invader group, which featured Dizzy, Lumi, and... ooh, shit. I fucking know the last one. Oh, come on. Oh, god damn it. But yeah, basically, all of the Invader group, and for this story, Jelly, Lumi, and Dizzy. And they all came from the same former talent agency that had basically shafted them. And Dizzy in particular, Dizzy and Lumi were tight, and I believe Lumi and Dizzy were also tight with Jelly. And I believe Ember's the last one. No, yeah, Ember, I'm pretty sure was the last one. And they were very much tight with each other. And for the longest time, and this is just from my perspective, from when I was viewing, Dizzy and Lumi very much took off. Dizzy is, of course, Dizzy and Lumi are in their 30s, and they've played into the hag bit, Dizzy in particular especially, being desperate for love, but also having mental strife due to yearning for romantic affection. That has led to both sympathy and a lot of jokes and a lot of in the community, but also a lot of sympathy and a lot of people liking her and being more endearing to her audience. Not even without baiting the girlfriend experience, just actually just being endearing to an audience. Lumi really fell into stride. Oh, we're getting more of these bots. Oh, fuck right off. But Lumi began to fall more into her stride a couple months in, when she realized she could actually be creative and open up. Now I know Lumi is a master's of, basically she's got a master's in, I believe it was software engineering, but she got to be the goofy girl she always wanted to be. She had clips of the raccoon Lumi, and she had a bunch of other bits I really enjoyed. But this story we're focusing on Jelly. And Jelly took her time to take her stride. And 2025 was her year, because when she exploded, because she was a little firecracker. Kind of how a lot of people from Pippa's audience missed the old Pippa, or kind of missed that early Pippa. Jelly brought it back. She just seemed to naturally fall in stride of just being a little firecracker. And with weird family history, a lot of things about her, she really fell into enjoying this. And she's also from Malaysia or Indonesia. Because right now it's late in the night. I'm pretty much tired from the work week, so my brain's not always working the best. But she's from Southeast Asia, so she says a lot of things off the cuff, but doesn't care about Western sensibilities because she's not from the West. Can speak English fluently, but she doesn't need to worry about fucking Western sensibilities for the most part. And this is going to come in later. Due to this attitude, also due to the group also not making it a point of their career, but seemingly actually understanding males being lonely, Dizzy especially, but Jelly kind of being that little happy fun time we get to talk to, and Dizzy being the more mature one that, you kind of hear kind of different perspectives from. Well, Clara didn't per se like that, because Clara, as we're going to get into, is a lefty, a raging lefty. And she, behind the scenes, began to fuck with Jelly. Making spats at her, making insults at her, and behind her back and on her on the Discord. With screenshots that were verified. It's on, I forget what the forum, it's on the forum. Which forum I'm not gonna let them say. It's pretty much obvious to who it is. To anyone in our chat. And what happened from there is that Clara tried to bring in. Yeah, I've noticed that Pip's face slowly started to push away from the edge of content, like when Pippa made the joke about the 9th of September 2001. Yeah, I mean, fucking even then, like, I think Pippa's last 9/11 joke was during the Chromo and Mari and Hina Bobina collab. Before, I think Mari was yet to join FaZe, but basically, yeah, making the joke that New Jersey can't claim 9/11. Or basically questioning why New Jersey tries to claim 9/11 when it wasn't in their state, despite majority of the fatalities from the Twin Towers being from New Jersey. But as I'm getting back to it, Clara especially did not like Jelly, and Jelly was accelerating in popularity over Clara. And Clara could both tap into the EN and English, to the EN and JP side of FaZe Connect. However, Clara only had sex jokes. Clara only could do soft edge, like when I say even soft edge, like basically milquetoast, anything, and mostly horny jokes. Looks like my message didn't send. Thanks, Merchants Guild. Yep. They love to go after you. But Charlemagne finds out the hard way usually, and I don't. I mean, I let everything fly here, but Charlemagne unfortunately found out the hard way. But Pippa, sorry, back to what I was saying about Clara, is that she could not find the same stride that Jelly could, and due to the Invaders' popularity of the many insults, the one that she kept haranguing on about was pick me, calling them pick me girls. Now, as of recent, the girls did do a concert where they sang where Jelly got to sing a song called "Pick Me," and they got to do a big collab over it. And the concert was a live 3D model concert, which had some pretty good everything in general, like motion tracking and everything. But this seemed to really piss off Clara. And Clara, I mean, this was the beginning of the cracks. And then Clara also in 2024, and on her old account and on her new account during the inauguration of President Donald Trump, said that conservative women, and she hoped and prayed that conservative women would miscarriage and die. Basically, not be able to get an abortion and just die from miscarriage, from sepsis. Well, now this thing was not on the company account. I need to clarify this. This was on Clara's infamous personal accounts. Her Instagram, which had her former model name, and I say model, her Grab Your Model, and her real name, and posts like shitting on her younger sister who got married, and who is also, most of her family is right-wing, Canadian conservative right-wing. Moderate Christian conservative by the standards of American politics. Around the world, people might say, he's really far right, He's not. He is far from far right. Charlie is a milquetoast run-of-the-mill Christian conservative. He had thankfully left Breitbart and had kind of struck out back on his own with Turning Point USA, and was making a great deal for himself to do better. I didn't agree with everything Charlie said, because he could easily just go back on words and go back on things, or say some things that were kind of off the cuff. Not exactly offensive off the cuff, but just kind of like, you're still putting your trust into career politicians. Charlie, though, was far and away a man that was more that lived by his principles. See, maybe we were talking about haze. You can relate as an expert yourself. Okay, so you guys are really far behind. Okay. I'm sorry if stream is skipping around. I gotta close some tabs here. Let me open this up here. Hopefully this should deal with the Wi-Fi. But as I was saying, there was an issue. Yep, Leaf Internet is pretty buggy. As I was saying, though, the issue is... Sorry. So Charlie was killed. There is no issue. Charlie was killed. And a very violent death. Shot to the neck. And what do you think happened as response? And the initial shock, the initial horror, and then the usual claims we're the great guy, we're the good guys, we're the loving individuals, we're the actual true believers and true actual saints of the world. You know, communist faggots. Well, they danced, sang, cheered, stomped on vigils of the grave of a man. And they thought they would be able to get away with it like they had done for so many times over. They pushed it to a whole new level from more than just violently assaulting people, going to their house, and, you know, taking shots and taking near misses at presidents. They killed someone. They had more, they already made the point clear. They'd kill conservatives. They'd kill anyone right wing. And they killed Charlie. And guess who was part of that wagon of people who cheered and clapped? HG50, no. Clara got fucking banned. I'm getting right to that. But Clara on her personal account called for the deaths of more conservatives and was cheering and celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Once again, a lot of people like myself were pissed. There was no immediate action. We saw a man get killed, murdered, broad daylight, shot to his neck, bleeding out, gushing out, spraying out in front of his child who ran to him for love and for safety. In front of his wife, 2 young children, by some troon-loving furry, communist dick suck, schizophrenic. I don't give a shit. And they killed him. Medicare feels that anger. Medicare's stream where he was there, that anger was palpable. And as I'm talking about more, I can make the jokes about the weird Charlie Kirk. I can make the jokes about the Kirkinator. But fuck me, it still just pisses me off. Because of any right-wing talking head, the most open, most calm, the one that talked to, the one that wasn't trying to shill for another country, the one that wasn't trying to sell for another country, the one that wasn't trying to fuck around and make schizo rants, one who actually lived by his principles and values, was slaughtered. And that fucking cunt, Clara, danced on his grave. And that's what really got everyone's sights put on Clara. And the lack of action afterwards made everyone bide and grit their teeth. Because FaZe Connect had crossed the line. Going from a strong, solid year with brand new talents and bringing in talents like Sleepy and Mari _EN, to having an obvious case of reprimandation on a woman who has a closely tied account to her business account, with notorious record for causing shit in the fucking company, did nothing. And then Clara returned. And she got donations and props from Aimee, from a couple other talents, from Sakana himself, and Pipkin Pippa. Now, we're slowly working to the past 24 hours as of this video. But Pippa had really changed. And I believe, personally, half of this is from company management, but another half of this is also from her trying to be a people pleaser. Pippa doesn't want to be known anymore as an edgy VTuber. Not that she ever really was truly edgy. She doesn't want to be known as the Yabbit anymore. Pippa even has basically kind of dropped the official name for her fans, the Capipulist or Capipulus, in exchange for something regarding her Azure Lane boat avatar. Pippa doesn't even recognize Pip Pakistani really much anymore. That being said, though, she's still friends with Kirsha, according to Kirsha, because Pippa can't really speak on really much of anything in the company, even admitting to this. She's She's really in a rock and a hard place. And the thing is, Pippa, while there's plenty of other really large talents, Tenma especially, but even the Invaders getting exploding in popularity, Pippa still is kind of the brand name of the company. She was, for the longest time, is what people were brought into Face Connect for. Though, what to be noted about Pippa is that she's not truly edgy. This year, she especially kind of really took the misfortunate step of making it obvious she's going to be trying to revoke any form of edginess. Because Elfin Psyop did her shit and is now thankfully fucking gone because, I mean, Elfin literally did illegal shit. And Ririgaki, I know people like the French mouse lady. When you try to go from trying to grift off being edgy and kind of steal what Elfin did, as much as I don't like her, and then you try to completely backtrack on everything, and then you get mad when people call you a coal burner because you literally are one by your own admittance. Well, I guess being edgy TM is hard, I suppose. Being based is hard, I suppose. No, not Charlie Hebdo. My thing, though, as I'm going to say, as I said before, I'm not edgy, I'm not based. I am basically a unfiltered guy. I don't pretend to be anything of the sort, because slapping yourself the label of, I'm base, bro, bro, I got canceled, look, I'm canceled, bro, oh, I'm so edgy. No, I'm not that shit. I just say what I say. However, Pippa on her end, she's really kind of changed, but it feels very much forced on from herself and from corporate. Especially regarding on Kirsha. I don't expect her to stand up for Kirsha, especially when Kirsha was getting a lot of flack thrown at her, because that was actually dangerous flack. Dangerous for Kirsha's life, and dangerous for anyone who tried to help Kirsha. I mean, Christ's sake, there was an actual bomb threat at a Houston convention from a Spider-Man cosplayer against GamerSups. Yeah. And Kirsha got shots at from pretty large creators too. Solid JJ, Rin Penrose, even though she can't really pull an audience. But yeah. And yes, H250, if you missed it, Clara celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk on her so-called personal public Instagram. So, Clara comes back, and then she's not really streaming all that often. According to some R-rats within Face Connect's groups who leak stuff and kind of basically be in the ear of certain people, Kirsha basically said on side scrolls that she has inline connections of what's going on really behind the scenes. Because you gotta remember, Mari's also in Phase 2, Sleepy's in Phase as well. Not just Pippa. And Kirsha's got people who liked her, but are dealing with the new Phase audience, or the audience that Phase wants to garnish. Well, here we go. We come up for months that Clara's no action taken against Clara, and she's basically gone away with it. But she's not streaming all that often. Turns out, according to some R-rats, she's been moved up to a managerial position. And when a talent slowly gets weaned out from the company, well, that's not graduation. But this was Phase, and they didn't take action, they never said anything. I guess they're trying to be so-called apolitical. But then, that all went out the water. When, as of recent, Minecraft, underneath Microsoft, decided to make a Black History Month post. And this is something that's going to affect Jelly, but I'm going to put it simply. The West has a weird asphyxiation with celebrating and worshiping. Well, just worship. Fuck it. Has a weird black worship. Kind of like both a racist and also self-loathing and putting up on a pedestal of black worship. Not even just not even like, oh, things have happened in the past and we can move on, but we understand the mistakes of things. No, outright worship and outright neglect of abhorrent behavior in public, and then also rewriting history, and basically creating martyrs from criminals. We saw that in 2020. Well, this new update, which is to be sent to schools and be forced into the bedrock version of Minecraft, so the base level of Minecraft and the educational level of Minecraft, was a Black History Month story campaign, or pseudo story campaign, DLC, whatever you want to have it, but it was going to be embedded into the game. And take a guess. They had the phrase fun mischief for rioting and so-called protesting. Now, if you're going back, now people are going to misconstrue this as being, why don't you like civil rights? Why don't you like civil rights? This game was not even talking about the civil rights. They used the figureheads of the civil rights leaders to push this. If you don't know anything about Rosa Parks, Rosa Parks was basically, the woman herself was actually a stand-in for an actual case of a black woman who was a single mother who tried to sit at the front of the bus when I believe she was pregnant and could not sit at the front of the bus and was because there was no other seating for her. Well, at the time being, the civil rights movement did not want to use a single mother as a case because that would make black people look bad. So they instilled Rosa Parks. And basically the whole thing got set up into a much larger story. Basically, while Rosa Parks' momentum did start a good portion of the civil rights movement, or that sector of the civil rights movement, it was also a fabricate. And this is the least of the sins of anything there. The most horrendous thing was, one, encouraging children to actually engage in rioting and protest as of right now, because especially at the end it was saying, go engage in some playful mischief, IRL and in the game. That's what protests are. And it's going to come up very close to the modern of what's going on currently. And there was also praise of Nelson Mandela and the ANC. Well, if you don't know, the ANC up until 2008 was considered a terror group in South Africa. And not because of black liberation, black power, they keeping the brother down. No. Winnie Mandela, wife of Nelson Mandela, and the ANC would go around to political adversaries, outspoken political pundits, and necklace them in public. And necklacing, if you don't know, is tying tires doused in gasoline around a man's neck and setting it on fire so that he either burns alive or is snuffed out from toxic fumes. So, with everything that was there, and this is Minecraft, a fucking game for years which has been a streamer favorite, a popular game, especially with VTubers. Jelly just got frustrated with this shit, and just all she said was, why is this here? I just want my stupid kid block game and just have fun. She didn't say anything about the blacks. She didn't say anything about the civil rights movement. She didn't say anything about the ANC. She said nothing of this. She just said, why are you inserting and forcing politics into things? Well, some wonderful individuals who also happen to be tenants in FaZe Connect, and also happen to be maybe some mods, also happen to report to FaZe Connect, and FaZe Connect, believe it, decided to go with them. They, well, had a smart idea. Why don't we keep reporting Jelly and get her in some serious shit? Jelly, who really was getting a lot of traction, especially later in the year after the Clara's Charlie Kirk comments. Well, Unlike Clara. I get it. This was on Jelly's public Twitter. Okay. That's the only maybe credence you can give to FaZe. They bent the fucking knee and made her apologize. And issued a public apology. So before, Clara is also supposedly within the managerial position of FaZe Connect right now, as she's no longer streaming. That pissed everyone off. And a firestorm broke out on Twitter. Because people were sick of seeing this long death by 1,000 cuts. A lot of canaries in the coal mine. From Kirsha to Cleo, to the attitude of Pippa, to the changing of behavior, the lack of no reprimandation on Clara. Not even talking about how another one of their talents, and I don't remember her name, has also been really smarmy too. Well, it finally just broke into a torrential downpour. And then a landslide. And evidently, something happened. See, this was growing, but everyone thought it would just be relegated to a couple, the drama tubers like Rev Says Desu, or side scrollers just talking about with Kirsha, and Kirsha even then was really going, and she really set the whole thing in motion and on side scrollers live when she fully just was putting on more things, but still retaining a lot of information, but putting on a lot more than she's ever spoken about, which she knows. And then Rev reports on it, and because he was there on side scrollers, and he makes some posts, and everyone goes after FaZe. And then it all falls down. Because love him or hate him, annoyed with him in his way of living, Asmongold came on the scene. Asmongold, who for a lot of VTubers, is a famous one to be worshipped. And Asmund, was killed for trying to run over cops, for actually attacking cops. We have a guy, Alex Preddy, who got himself killed. Unfortunate, through a most unfortunate circumstance, but it was still a case that he still resisted, fought, and dealt with police, that he shouldn't have been killed at all. But however, when another man misfires in public, and the guy's got a gun, these ICE officers who have been shot at, who have been attacked, who have had actual murders of their ranks, and dealing with actual violent criminals, child sex offenders, pedophiles, rapists, and even just criminals off the hop because they invaded this country. They invaded the United States illegally. Not my country. They invaded the United States illegally. Something I fully, and even as a so-called leaf, and people are going to point out, well, you're not even from the Americas. Well, guess what? What happens in America affects me quite a bit. But more importantly, I don't have any patriotism towards my fucking country. My country's betrayed me some ways to Sunday. I have more patriotism for the States. And after all this shit, they could have let it blown over. Asmongold, guess what? Brings it up on stream. No. H250, we're going to get there. Brings it up on stream. Because our resident fun guy, and I've talked to him, and I'm not sure he's here right now, but the Howdy Doodly, the champion diddly doodler, Jewcock, from a response from Delta, Val, got a tweet that was picked up by Asmund and revealed FaZe's biggest blemish. Kelsey Paranagoni, aka Kamina Clara, from FaZe Connect, aka Karupani, is a 31-year-old Canadian VTuber who celebrated the initial Trump assassination attempt as well as Charlie Kirk's death. Let's see what she does. Oh, failed grab your model and swinger party attender. Figures. That's not even scratching the surface, but we already talked about this. But Asmund brings this up on stream. Jelly gets reprimanded. That bitch gets to walk free. And you can see her itty-bitty chicken titties. And that ass, which, by the way, some of you don't know about Clara, she still tried to sell Gravure personal pics through her Instagram. But the woman went vegan. She went so far left, she went vegan. And she has lost her pitiable ass and even her pitiable titties. And wouldn't you know, Asmund covers this. And it went from a landslide to a whole avalanche and rockfall. Because oh, by the way, thanks. Unfortunately for Howdy, the Doodly champion, Diddly Doodler, he also did at Rima and Lydia. I like Lydia Nekazawa, well, partially do. Little does she know, I've actually saw her in public at the when I was at Anime North. When I was there to see Sawa. But Rima is one of the types that refused to cover Kirsha during her thing. So unfortunately, she ain't gonna pick up on that. But as for everyone else, yeah, no, they fucked. They fucked. They got fucked hard. Pippa was supposed to have a stream last night of Cult of the Lamb. She decided instead to watch a 1945 noir movie. And Pippa was, in other words, she sounded like she sounded dead. Broken. Unfortunately. I don't want to see Pippa like that. No one wants to see Pippa like that. Because this company is basically tied to her directly to such a degree that she's the figurehead of it. Like a major player of it. And most of the other streamers most of the other talent weren't even streaming that night. They had basically revoked on their streams and changed it to a different night. Pippa was the one to stream. Chat was on lockdown. Chat had auto ban and had many ghost, like a lot of words that were just shadow banned. And even when there was a joke, even though there's a line about a failed painter, which is something that Pippa, even in her current state, would have made a joke about failed painters. She was like, oh, funny. Okay. Pippa was broken. And I don't want to see her that way, but equally too, the audience that FaZe wanted to cultivate, well, she's unfortunately in the crossfire because she really pushed to help that come along. I don't want to see her like this, but there is a change in the wind of people. And what happened now is something different. They then announced within an hour or two of Asmongold basically partially doxing Clara. And at this point, I know it's kayfabe to dox VTubers. Well, not really doxing, because considering how much she had this tied to her fucking account, and people just know it. It was an open secret for fucking years. Clara, basically, I'm not the one doing it, was Asmon. I'm covering it because, I mean, she literally did this. She literally did hentai herself. Also, Gunbum, or Gumbun, a mid in appearance, lewd cosplay thought, who has done a lot of cosplay for Mari. Well, she was throwing up a shit fit because she's also of the left-leaning crowd. Because of course, every horror's got to stick together. Horror's got to be horrors together. Yeah, I have no sympathy. I don't care what she said. She's bitching and moaning. She's having a little fucking breakdown right now. The only thing attractive about her is her body, and personally, I'd keep a bag over that face, and I'd pay her $50 to shut up if I was forced in a situation to be around her. That's it. Going back to the actual thing going on right now. Clara got fired, or got graduated. Sorry. She got graduated. Oh yes, Clara. Oh, our dear Clara. got graduated. Now, there's more to this, but for now, with this graduation, sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na, hey, 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 goodbye. Sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na, hey, 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 goodbye. He never loved you as much as I love you. If he didn't, he wouldn't make you cry. But my feelings, baby, no, my love, you're gonna win and then just kiss him. I wanna see you kiss him. Go on and kiss him. Goodbye, na, sha-na-na-na, hey, 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 goodbye. Yeah, I'm spinning in my chair right now. She's gone. As for her current placement in the company, fuck her. Right? Let me bring it up. Let me sell you a joke. Take a toke real quick. Thank you for always supporting Face Connect. Oh, hang on. Boo, boo, boo. Copy image, paste image. Nah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this. We could probably bring it up in post, but ooh, delicious. Thank you for always supporting Face Connect. Coming out, Clara will graduate from Face Connect on 2026, February 28th. She will be concluding her regular activities on both YouTube and Twitter.